Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
We dropped exclusive that when MGM were looking to reboot a series back in 2019 with Brad Wright, they were also looking at doing an SGU animated movie. Now, at the time, I was actually told that it was in development. I found out quite quickly that wasn't true, and we had to sort of retract that. That it wasn't true, because that would have been 2023. It was just one of those rumours, because it was being looked at in 2019, that had sort of gone round and reached my ear. An animated movie, to me, would make sense, because you've got a few problems with SGU, in that time has gone by, and the actors have aged, but they're supposed to be in cryostasis pods. That doesn't really make sense unless we're going to see that they all woke up, like 12 months later. Actually, they were supposed to, weren't they? They were supposed to have been woken up when they reached the next galaxy. I think it was supposed to be 2 or 3 years or something. So maybe they just explain that in the whatever they do to conclude SGU. Or do they do an animated movie? Now, Babylon 5: The Road Home was something that was quite popular with fans. I didn't love it, I have to admit. I thought it was overhyped, and to be honest, the storyline just wasn't very good. But they did an animated movie because everybody had aged and some actors had passed away. If you're going to do an animated movie of something like SGU, it kind of makes sense to do that because, one, you could do it on a very limited budget, and even though Stargate Universe is one of the Stargate projects we probably get the most comments about, and it really does have a hardcore fan base, it's not a massive fan base. I would say that Stargate SG-1 probably has the largest fan base, then SG-8, and then SGU finally. There are quite a lot of people, me included, that actually didn't love SGU first time round, even though I've grown to appreciate it more as time has gone by. It's a bit like Star Trek Enterprise. Didn't love it at the time, can totally appreciate it now, especially considering all the new Trek crap that we've had. I look back fondly at Enterprise now, similarly to SGU, even though hopefully Amazon doesn't bring back Stargate and it's so bad that we do look back fondly on SGU. Hopefully that's not the reason why. But anyway, they could bring it back relatively cheaply to basically meet the expectations of the fan base. They can avoid the problem with the actors aging. They can avoid it being too expensive, obviously getting some of the actors like Robert Carlyle back, even though I did hear he was in negotiations with Amazon MGM over a project. I did hear it was Stargate related, so I think he was going to appear in the movie that was planned for last summer that got scrapped during the strikes. I think that's what was happening. But anyway, you can get around all of those problems with an animated movie, and you could also do it very quickly, which is also really important if you're going to announce that basically you're doing a reboot of Stargate. You could then, within, say, 12 months, and in almost total secret, they did it with Babylon 5, we didn't know anything about it till it was done. They could do it in virtually total secret and release it, within, say, 6 months of the announcement to get that momentum going, get that excitement going, to really take advantage of that excitement. Amazon Prime could put it behind a paywall at first if they wanted to, and we would pay for it, let's be honest. If someone says it's £10 for the download, you're going to go, yeah, okay. Even if you know it's going to be on MGM Plus or Amazon Prime 6 months later, a lot of us will still pay it. They could do it on a DVD release like they did for Babylon 5 and The Road Home. And again, I'd pay it. I'd get that Blu-ray. I just think an animated movie for SGU ticks all the boxes. It gives us a conclusion to SGU in an affordable, logical way that's doable, and doable quickly. It would be a nice way to end the original Stargate storylines and things and tie a nice knot on it, and act as a gateway into the new Stargate, whatever that looks like. To me, it just makes sense. Now, we do kind of have a conclusion to SGU. It's the comic book series. But it's a comic book series I never particularly liked, even though it was actually influenced by plans for the third season. I hear that like Joseph Malosi and people like that were involved in some of those storyline ideas. But actually elements of it did sort of break canon for Stargate. There was a bunch of ancients that were in stasis pods. I said it right that time. See, I'm good. And they'd woken up, and that was sort of the plot for a lot of the comic book series. But that doesn't make sense because we know that actually we've seen ancients in stasis pods before, and you're not actually in complete like animated state, like frozen time. You're just aging much, much slower. And over the time period we're talking about, they'd have aged and died. So that is canon for Stargate. And we know how Brad Wright feels about the rules once they're set up, that you should follow them. So the comics didn't. So I think we can ignore them. Let's do an animated movie. If Amazon, you're listening, this just makes sense. You were going to do it before. This was back when MGM was trying to kickstart its animation studios again in 2019. But it does make sense. You do have access to these things. You've got a really good deal with Sony, who have a really good animation studio as well over at Culver City. This could be done quite quickly and quite cheaply and quite easily if they wanted to. It's just a matter of, do they want to? I'm actually not 100% certain we're going to be getting a Stargate reboot in the next couple of years anyway. It doesn't seem that Amazon are really particularly keen on it, and it does seem that they're talking to Sony, but those conversations seem to be taking forever, and Sony actually would be quite interested in taking it on. Sony, again, have a really good animation studio themselves, as I mentioned, and they could do it. So again, it would make sense from that point of view. Again, cost effective, doable, logical, would wrap everything up nicely, and you actually have the facilities to do it. It would seem like a no-brainer to me. I'd love you guys, though, to get into the comments and tell me what you think, because animation, and an animated movie in this way, is going to be... It's going to divide fans. We'll put it that way. There's a lot of people, and check the comments, because we're going to get them, that will say, animation over my dead body, I'm not watching it, don't be stupid. And I will get called names for this. So feel free, okay? But I would like anybody to deny that it doesn't make sense. A live action conclusion doesn't quite make sense. Too expensive, actors aged, getting them actually to do it. I think David Blue would be back in a second, but other than that, it might be difficult. And what storyline would you do? In an animated movie, you can do whatever you want. In a live action, it's a bit more difficult. But I defy anybody to tell me it doesn't at least make sense. So get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out, and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/scitrek, where most of our new videos do premiere first. You get to see them without the adverts. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.